Right, so I think first task of this video is to make up a fuse box and relay sort of a box. I've got some bits and pieces that I'm hopefully planning to use. There's all some fuses, I've got some relays and some wiring, some bits connected together. Got a list of all my relays and fuses. I have some bits and pieces I'm going to need. I can double several of them up to save some space. But yeah, I need to get these all mounted up so I can obviously have the physical unit to know where I can fit it in the car. So that's going to be a first. Right, so making a mess, running out of space. Gonna have to have a bit of tidy up, I think, soon. So this is a bit of perspex or acrylic, I'm not entirely sure, that I've got left over. Now I've cut this to it's basically the size that I think is a maximum that will fit into the footwell area underneath the original fuse box. That's where I'm hoping it will go. Now what I've done is I've drilled out loads of holes in here. Now these are going to be for routing the wires through. Like so when I've got the relay pack here, all the wires will go through all the holes, and then I'll come back up through to what's necessary onto the fuse box. Then I'll have connectors here for the wiring to go off to the relative components. What I'm going to do is just, obviously with the fuse box they'll screw in, got holes in there. With the relays they haven't got holes, but what I think I could probably do is just glue it, put them in and glue them into place. Once the backing, this is just it's not white, it's obviously it's just a clear. Yeah, just glue them on, and then obviously I can get all the wires routed through, get it all connected up, and that should be done. So what I'm going to do before I take it all apart is just fit everything on, just make sure everything lines up and is all going to work. Go from there. Yeah, so that'll be the basic layout of the fuse box, I think. Obviously just have to all connect all together. Now the ports here are going to be for the outputs of the relays, because there you're going to be like a higher current than anything else. And then what I'll do is, if I turn this off, with the feeds that come out the back, obviously there's going to be some lows and earths, but like the signal wires here, I will connect those all together. I've got some pack of universal connectors here. I'll connect them together with the 5 wires, and then obviously on the other end of the wire can come off to the ECU, so I can just disconnect the multi-plug for when I need it. And if there are some outputs that don't need that much voltage, I can also do the same for that, rather than having them run through the main units. But that will be sorted out once this is all made out and obviously mounted in position. Right, so I've got all the bits fixed on now. I've just whipped the hot glue gun out, glued on the relay blocks. Now what I'm going to do is feed the main wiring through, and this will go up to the fuses. I'll put a terminal on there and obviously connect them up one by one. Then the other ones that I'm going to be looking at will be with the blue wires on here. Will go out. I might need to extend them, which is a bit frustrating, but that's the way it is. And they will probably go and come to these. Maybe not all of them. It might only be a few of them. As I said, these are the high current draw ones. So things like cooling fans, that kind of stuff. So yeah, they'll come out to here, and then the black going to be it's just a ground. It's just a ground for the relay, so they'll probably just splice them together, and then I can probably earth them on here. So yeah, it's just going about cutting them down, cut them to length, get a connector on there, and working through it. Right, there it is, several hours later. That's the fuse box that I got made up. Now, it's got a bit of redundancy in there, so I've got some terminals I'm not using. I'm probably not going to use all of the relays, but they're in there. Just gives me scope for more. There'll be a few spare anyway. I was going to use a relay for things like an ECU and the dash, but they're only going to need like a 5 amp sort of a cable, so I got some spare fuses at the bottom. I might just use those straight to the dash instead of going for the relay. But yeah, that is essentially how it's going to be. I just need a main power in the top here for it, and then yeah, so power will come out through the fuses to the relay. The relays in turn will feed these outputs, especially for the high power stuff, fans, that kind of stuff. On the back, what I've got is just a relay block here connecting these all together, so they're all bridged together, which is going to be powered by one of the relays, because my ECU provides a ground to switch the relays, so all of the other side of the switch circuit of the relay need to be live. So that's what that is there for. And then what I've got is a couple of multi-plugs just fitting on the ends here, and then this will then connect up to the ECU, and that will be the triggers to switch whichever relays are needed at the time. So yeah, that's basically how it's turned out. I just need to hope now I can fit this actually in the car. it should be all right, but we'll see. Try and keep it out of the footwell too much or anything like that. But right, so that's made up. So I can get this, look at now mounting this in the car. Or the other thing I've done is just obviously make notes. That's the main thing to do when doing things like this. Keep making notes. You can refer back to it should you get a little bit confused. Because yeah, some of these, they don't line up like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Don't line up like 1 to 6 on the relays or anything like that, or 1 to 6 on the fuses. It's a little bit crisscrossed with some of the wiring, just to make it all work, but that's fine. That's what the notes are for. Right, so yeah, let's look at getting this mounted. Then I've got some connectors of different sort of sizes here, and then a bunch of them there. Get it in the car, terminate some of the wiring that's already in there. So they're all connectors, so I've got a fixed point to aim at, and then that'll be the mock-up of all the wiring done, and I can look at actually making the wiring then. Right, so I've just put the dash cover back in, just to see what space we've got. I've terminated this plug here just to neaten it all up, so that's ready to be plugged in. We've just got a fuel pump wire here, some live feeds, original fuse box, so I have to find a place to mount that up in there, and then obviously the main unit. But yeah, I had to get this cover back in just so I can get it all located out. While I'm here as well, what I'll probably do is I've obviously got my main battery cable, which there it is in there. You won't be able to see it because all the sound deadening's on, but my bulkhead fitting. So I'll cut this out, get the bulkhead fitting exposed, and look at getting maybe just the main battery cables mounted at the same time, and obviously get those bits mounted. So yeah, that's what I'm going to do now. Right, so that's the first of the 2 fuse boxes in. So that's the original one. What I've done is just cut it in half so it's not as deep. There's no fuses in it anyway, so that doesn't matter. Kept the half with the fuses in. A short little link down to the battery positive there. See, that main positive will go back to the battery, and then the fuses here, or the main power feeds are like the internal fuse box. So that's in, just a simple little bracket, just bolted on there, hold it in place. All fits with the glove box, so happy days. Right, so next one then is to fit this secondary fuse box. try and get that all mounted and fitted in there. Might be a little bit more tricky, but here we go. Right, so that is basically where it's going to be mounted. Just all in the glove box area here. It does mean, if we look at the glove box, I'm going to have to chop off along there probably, and then just put a base on it. So I still have a majority of the glove box, just not the last little bit at the end. But that's no problem. Now I'm going to try and put a relay in for this off the main power. You can see if I can work that out. And I will need to probably put a support bracket from like back here up to there's a tab up there, maybe up to there, because it's obviously quite loose in there. I don't want it bouncing around and rattling. So yeah, if I can get a securing bit in there, but I'll have to wait till the dash is fully bolted in just to make sure it all lines up. I've got some screws in the front which just holds it in, but again I'll have the holes in place when the dash comes out. I might see if I can secure that a bit better. But yeah, that is the whole premise of it. Run out of time today, so I think I'm going to leave it there. Yeah, next time I think it's a case of buttoning up all these little bits and pieces and then going about mocking up the loom. See you next time.